Welcome to the Three-Piece Combo MMA Show, brought to you by the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Johnathan, aka Three-Piece Combo, and although this is usually an MMA show, I couldn't help but go after and talk about this modern-day classic between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, because that's exactly what that fight was. It was probably one of the best boxing matches. John Johnson with the first comment. What's going on, my brother? Appreciate everybody here. Make sure you hit that like button. That helps me out a lot. And it's free, right? Doesn't make you guys charge anything. That's also awesome. But yeah, what an amazing modern day classic between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Both of these guys had their moments in the fight. It started off with Tyson Fury having that or dropping Deontay Wilder in the third round. Wilder looked like he was on wobbly legs, like he wasn't going to come back. The next round, he drops Tyson Fury twice. And it's like he didn't even look like he had the power to do it, and he'd still dropped Tyson Fury twice. So that was crazy. The entire fight, it just looked like both guys just wasn't there mentally. This was an absolute war. It wasn't even a boxing match. It was just two warriors going at it, and we saw the warrior spirit of both guys. Now, there's a couple things that I do want to talk about in this fight, as far as maybe that count in the fourth round. I felt like that count was a little bit slow, but I want to say what's up. And if I'm looking right here, I'm looking at the screen. So Mendiola Letitia saying it was a crazy fight. One of the craziest that I've ever seen. Well, definitely one of the craziest I've ever seen. What's up, Joseph Rosaball? How did Fury get up twice? Unbelievable. I mean, that dude just has. I mean, honestly, both of these guys. But for Fury to get up twice in the fourth round, that was just next level toughness. That was next level toughness. And let's start with that, because I do want to talk a little bit about that count in the fourth round. So I'm going to put up a banner real quick so anybody that's watching afterwards can kind of catch up for that. So just bear with me for 1 second, because in that fight, in that count, let's see, fourth round, when the referee was counting whilst Tyson Fury was down, he was like trying to push up or push away Deontay Wilder, like as that was happening. And that was kind of strange, right? That was something strange. That, let me type this in real quick. We running solo, we producing, and we doing the show by ourselves. So just bear with me. I appreciate everybody hopping in. Amazing historic night that you're all joining in for. Probably one of the best heavyweight fights of all time. And to address the comments of John Johnson, and honestly myself too, right? It was a very interesting count that happened in the fourth round, because Wilder dropped Tyson Fury, and I'm not sure if it was the first time or the second time. The whole fight was just my heart pumping out of my chest, so I couldn't really tell you for sure. But after about 3 or 4, he stopped counting. He looked at Deontay Wilder, tried to push him away from the scene, and then he tried to, he went back to counting. But at that time, already 4 or 5 seconds had passed. He should have been at 7 or 8, and he went back to 5. So not really sure what happened there. That was an interesting part of the fight, but at the end of the day, we all know how tough Tyson Fury is. He's one of the tougher guys in the sport. He got knocked out cold and still got up in the first fight. We know this guy isn't somebody that's going to stay down. Definitely Mendiola. No more excuses, right? No more excuses for sure. There's no way that, I mean, Deontay Wilder has zero excuses. The excuse the first time was the count. There were slow counts in that first fight. He got up from that, ninth round, not ninth round, from the 12th round knockdown, and he was able to survive that fight. The excuse in the second fight was that, this was the worst one. The costume was too heavy. And then coming into this fight, he had a much lighter costume. So he performed a lot better. Maybe his excuse was a little bit valid because his costume was a lot lighter. He performed a lot better. And he just looked like a different man coming into this fight, So, like, Wilder only got one knockdown. Did they count one of them as a slip officially? I'm not sure. You'd have to let me know, Luca Beno. Sorry about that. Adam Kennedy saying Gypsy King. Alan Doyle saying buzzing after that incredible fight. Man, it was, like I said, one of the best fights, boxing or MMA, that I've ever seen, because you saw the warrior spirit of both guys. Deontay Wilder looked beat many, many times before that 11th round knockout. He looked beat in the third round after he got knocked down. He looked beat in the fifth round. He was eating a lot of shots in the dirty boxing clinch of Tyson Fury. And shout out to Tyson Fury and Alfredo Arteaga. He definitely wanted to be here, but he's unfortunately not home right now. He's doing some things with the family. So shout out to the boy Alfredo, obviously the boxing genius. But he's texting me right now and sending me some analysis of the fight. And he was talking about how Tyson Fury was doing a very smart thing by using that extra weight and leaning on Deontay Wilder, making him gas out a lot sooner. So that weight disparity actually came into play. What's up to my boy Simba of Sports? It's the man, Simba. Great fight. Appreciate you joining us as well. Be Stuck the Poet. Why do you think Wilder seemed so lethargic early on and continued through the fight? Was it muscle mass? Yeah, so that's actually a great point that you make there, right? Wilder came in and his physique looked incredible, right? You can see the definition in his muscles. You can see that he's really not carrying that much body fat. But when it comes to combat sports, you don't want to carry a lot. Let me reword that. You don't want to overload on muscle and not have any fat, because when you do that, you allow yourself to muscle burns more energy than fat does, right? Because it's going to be consuming more calories naturally, just biology. That's the way it works. If you have all your muscles working at, an incredible pace and you're throwing heavy punches like Deontay Wilder does, that could be something that's going to help fuel that, like you said, his lethargicness early on. Another thing, like I said, Alf texted me, and I was thinking this as well about Tyson Fury leaning on Deontay Wilder, using that clinch to his advantage. And shout out to that referee to allow that clinch to continue on, for a couple of seconds and not break it up right away and get some dirty boxing in there. Tyson Fury was able to use that clinch and actually wear down, use that 30, 40-pound disparity that he had on Deontay Wilder and to tire him out. And so it was a combination of both the clinch work and, like you said, the muscle mass, right? The muscle mass is going to burn him out. You had a guy that was clearly, if this was a bodybuilding competition, it wouldn't even be close. But I mean, Tyson Fury came out, he had the extra body weight, he had the extra chub on there, but his movement was a lot better, right? He was able to save himself a little bit more. He didn't look as exerted at times. Now, of course, both guys are going to look tired, but he didn't look like his mouth was gaping open like Deontay Wilder was. I feel like Wilder, he has a bad tired face. Like he looks gassed when he looks gassed. But the thing is, it's kind of like an anti-poker face because he looks tired all the time, and then he'll pull a punch out of the bag and knock you down twice, and like he did in the fourth round. So very, very fun there. Not fun there. Very, very just amazing fight. I want to get to this comment. Luca Beno, saying illegal punch behind the head in the second knockdown. So it was annulled. Interesting point for real. Alan Doyle, definitely keeping it right there. But yeah, definitely. I didn't realize that it was a punch on the back of the head, but overall, the fight was amazing. Let's just go through it a little bit. In the first round, it was the story of Deontay Wilder actually looking like a new fighter. And for him, I'm just going to go ahead and put up a little banner real quick. Recap. For him, the story was really just that jab to the body. Like, we haven't seen as much him use that jab to the body, at least to that level that he was in this fight. And especially compared to the first two fights that he had, this was a new strategy that he came out with. And I really like the strategy because if you're going up against somebody that's, like we talked about, a little bit huskier, a little bit on the bigger side, right? And you're the more muscly guy, you want to drain that guy's gas tank as much as you can. So targeting the body early in the fight, making him aware, making him have to drop his hands early in the fight, I thought that was a phenomenal strategy by the corner of Deontay Wilder and of him himself. And I thought he looked really good. So I scored that first round to Deontay Wilder. But Eastarn saying media, I just saw a video by a troll call this fight rigged. Yeah, go see who these two warriors come back from the punches they took and call this fight rigged. If they wanted to rig this fight would have been done a lot earlier and would have saved both of these guys a lot of CTE down the line. But at the end of the first round, we did see Tyson Fury did connect with a nice, I think it was a right hook around the side. Second round, I gave to Tyson Fury. And Alex said with a great point, he left the game plan, started dropping bombs and gassed out, right? He, instead of going jab to the body, working at a deliberate pace, working off the front foot and continuing there, like you said, he left the game plan and he started dropping bombs. And, it worked out in one round. And there was a couple rounds that he definitely hurt him. And I think it was the 9th or 10th round that early in the round, Tyson Fury had really hurt Deontay Wilder. And at the end of the round, somehow, after I thought Wilder was done for that fight, he came back and he landed like 4 or 5 punches in a row, almost dropping Tyson Fury. You could have saw it, but Alex with a great point again. The body sets up the headshot. Absolutely, man. And if he were to continue working that jab to the body, I think we would have seen two different things. We would have seen the neutralization of Tyson Fury ducking low to get out of the way, right? Because we see that a lot as soon as that right hand, which is a little bit telegraphed, especially when he gets a little more tired. That right hand of Deontay Wilder is a little telegraphed and it's a little loopy. When he gets it straight, it's money. But when he punches and he gets it, when he's a little tired, we see that Fury was able to, dodge and go around the bottom, and he was able to get off from there. So amazing. Like Alex said, man, the body sets up the headshot. So unfortunately for him, he got away from the game plan. I'm not sure if it was him getting punched in the face, because everybody has a game plan until you get punched in the face. But yeah, it was definitely a different. It was a different look for him after that second round. After he watched, I think John Johnson just made the point right there. We just watched him survive off pure heart for 7 rounds. TBH, you're absolutely right there, and I'm going to have to let you guys chill out for 1 second. My laptop is dying. It is 1:22 in the morning. I forgot to plug it in. So just give me like 20 seconds and I shall be right back. And we always repping the D Wade, you know, always got to keep repping with that. So, want to get to some of these points here. Actually, let me finish recapping this fight. Be Stuck the Poet. I'm gonna get to your comment right there. That's a great question. So, I'll get to that in 1 second. So, yeah, like we were saying, Alex, that he got away from the body shots in the third round. We saw a little bit of a turning of the tables where we saw like he stopped using that game plan, and Tyson Fury just started to press his weight up against Deontay Wilder, push up against him, started making him back up. And once Wilder started backing up and stopped using that jab to the body, it was really him. He's gonna have an upward fight. He's gonna walk up an uphill hill for this fight. Like he wasn't gonna be able to walk forward with this fight, and I mean, like I said, he pulled those two knockdowns out of the bag in the fourth round, and that was probably one of the. I mean, this whole fight, like I said, one of the best heavyweights, if not boxing matches of all time. But the fourth round is absolutely phenomenal because you have Deontay Wilder. He got destroyed in the second fight. He got dropped early in this fight. Everybody was counting this man out, and he comes out in the fourth round after looking like he's done, and he drops Tyson Fury not once but twice. And that just speaks to the incredible heart and the growth that we saw from Deontay Wilder. Now, he didn't win this fight, but I think everybody who watched this fight, like John Johnson said, we watched him survive off pure hearts for 7 rounds. Because after that, after he got gassed, he was basically eating a lot of shots. There was a couple times where I felt like he might have gotten knocked down, but he just leaned up, he stayed up somehow, and he definitely fell at the end, but he definitely used that heart. And I don't think it's tough to see somebody like that. It's almost Calvin Cater-ish, but he didn't get destroyed like Calvin Cater. But that boy was there, man. Fifth round, another phenomenal round. Both these guys just went absolutely at it. Both guys looked tied. I think in the fifth or sixth round, I had it 46-46, or I had Wilder of one because I gave him that 10-7, but I thought it was pretty even. But after that round, I think Fury won most of the rounds. 6, 7, 8. There was definitely some times in those rounds that Wilder was wobbled. He was on shaky legs, but he's able to make it happen. He was able to come back. He was able to show that he had that fighter's heart. And man, 11th round came around and Tyson Fury just hit him with a beautiful shot. He goes down face down, unable to, there's no way. When you go down face down, that's a knockout cold. And the reason that he went down face down is because he ate so many shots. He fought through each one of those shots mentally, making sure that he did not get knocked out. And he fought to the end, man. And he fought to the end. So mad respect to Deontay Wilder. That was an amazing, amazing performance in a losing effort. No matter what you could have said about this man before, you got to give him a little more respect because he showed that he's going to go out on a shield. He's not going to back down. I mean, he did, fight off the back foot for the latter of 8 rounds, but he's not going to go out quitting, right? He protested the stoppage in the last fight. This fight, he did not want to go out until he went out cold. Big shout out to Deontay Wilder. Hit the like button if you liked the performance tonight. Hit the like button if you loved what you saw, man. This was an amazing fight. I want to get to this point now by Be Stuck, the poet. How do you defeat Fury? He uses his unequal weight distribution to seemingly devour punches. He leans on you. He sneaks in powerful small punches. He hits you with the home runs. I think for him, it's tough, right? Because you said it right there. The matchup is really tough for anyone. Let's start with his size, right? His size is gonna allow him to have an advantage in any clinch situation, right? Because like you said, he's going to be able to lean on you. He's going to be able to wear you out. And those inside dirty boxing punches where he's throwing those short uppercuts, those short left hooks, he's really good at getting his arms in the right position to get those nice uppercuts and get those nice little short hooks, get those, little pitch shots to the body. They're really, really effective, especially wearing somebody out down the fight. So he has that. It's almost like a wrestler in an MMA fight that can take you down, right? He can always take you down, and if he wants to box, he'll box. But if he can take you down and just control you from there, that's what Tyson Fury does. He holds you and he controls you, and then after he makes you tired, it's a lot easier for him to see your punches because when you're tired, your punches are not as crisp and they're a little more loopy, right? So now he's able to effectively move as well as, and that's one of the second parts of his game. His movement for his size is absolutely incredible. So once he tires you out, then he's able to evade your punches and you tire yourself out at that point because you're throwing shots, you're attempting to swing for the home run and you're getting striked out. And that was what's happening tonight. Wilder was throwing a lot of big punches and sure he connected with some of them, but most of them he missed with. And that's kind of what played into him getting tired, into him getting knocked out in this fight, was because he was throwing so many punches that missed that when you don't connect, you're throwing a lot of energy. And these guys were fighting for, 36 minutes, right? On the latter part of that. And he's a matchup for and made in hell because if you want to be a smaller guy, maybe move around, stick on him. If he holds on you, you're done. If you're a bigger guy, then your punches are going to be a lot slower and he's going to be able to, just outbox you, outmaneuver you. And then towards the end of that fight, once you're tired, then he'll put you out. So very, very tough matchup there. I love the question, Be Stuck, the poet. I appreciate you asking. That's a great point. It's going to be a tough matchup for anybody. I think a matchup for him that would have to be well. I can't give you a name right now as far as who could beat him, but somebody that's strong enough in the clinch or able to hold him and avoid some of those dirty boxing shots and is able to move as effectively as him, right? Somebody's able to do that. You can't, it's tough for me to compare anybody in boxing than that. You could have said Anthony Joshua, or maybe you could say Usyk, right? Usyk is somebody, but Usyk has an Alfredo Alfartiaga from 3 yards per carry. He was texting me this. Usyk has a mandatory rematch with Anthony Joshua. So Usyk versus him would be a really good fight. Now we know Usyk is the smaller fighter, and we didn't see too much clinch work between him and Anthony Joshua. I would be curious to see if the clinch work between Usyk or between Tyson Fury and Usyk, would that slow down the movement of Usyk? Because he moves so well, he was able to beat Anthony Joshua. How would that movement work against somebody who's moving pretty well as well and also a little bit bigger than you in Tyson Fury? That would be a very interesting one. Alex M saying Wilder versus Joshua would sell. Absolutely, man. But like we said just now, Joshua and but you commented this before, but Joshua has that mandatory rematch with Usyk. But if Usyk wins that, Alexander Usyk versus Fury, that would be an amazing one. Joseph Blanco saying Fury's a smart fighter. He used his size to a big advantage. Absolutely great point there. Like we were saying, he uses weight to tire out Deontay Wilder, and once he tired him out, it was easy. Wilder looked like Rocky at one point. You have to kill him to defeat him. Kudos to a memorable fight. Hashtag fight of the year. I'm right there with you, man. This fight had like I said, it had my heart jumping out of my chest. It was one of the best fights that I've ever seen. And at heavyweight too, right? These guys were taking heavyweight punches and they were sticking it and they were moving. Man, I want to thank each one of you guys. And I just take a moment to appreciate what we all just witnessed, right? Because we don't all get to always witness some classics, right? You have classics in the fight game that everybody talks about. This is going to be one of those fights that years to come, you guys watching right now, me myself, anybody that watched can say, "Hey, we watched this classic." And watching it live is an experience like no other. And I think that's why the combat sports overall is just an amazing, amazing sport. So just before you move forward, just feel thankful for being able to watch this fight because it's a memory that we're going to be able to share together. So I appreciate all you guys obviously joining us tonight. Appreciate everybody in the comments. So super thankful for that. Super thankful for watching the fight. Alex M asking, saying Andy Ruiz, if he takes the Canelo camp serious, I like his potential. You'd have to ask Alf that. He'd be able to break down the fight camps a little bit better. He's a genius with that fight camp stuff. But I mean, Ruiz can, right? Because he has the size. If he's able to move, but I don't think he's on the level of Tyson, man. Just to be honest with you, Caillou saying, love the name by the way. Someone with the boxing skills of Luis Ortiz and the power of Fury is the only way you can beat Fury. Exactly, exactly. Someone who can move, has the footwork and the head movement of that, and then to have the power to match it. That's the only way you can do it. Be Stuck the Poet. Appreciate you joining. Continue to join us and continue to comment. Wilder is literally the only person that comes close, and look how that turned out 3 times. Absolute facts, man. Absolute facts. Because I mean, the first fight was as close as it gets, right? You had that 9 count late in that fight, and he was able to come back from it. And then again in this fight, regardless of a slow count or not, he was able to do it. And then the second fight wasn't even a matchup, right? Fury just destroyed Wilder, and I think that's kind of what makes this fight so much better, right? Because everybody expected this fight to be kind of a wash, right? Everybody expected it to be Tyson Bam. Everybody expected it to be just kind of a rollover for Tyson Fury, and it wasn't. Wilder showed, hey, I'm coming here to fight. Like, I'm going to come here and I'm going to show everything I can. And shout out to the warrior spirit of Deontay Wilder, man, because we saw it live. Like, we saw this dude get hurt, and he was stumbled many, many times in this fight, but he refused to go down. And I think that's something that definitely needs to be accommodated for. What was with Wilder checking his arm and gloves after each punch? I think they talked about that just being like a habit. I mean, they were saying potentially it might have been his hand might have been broken or something might have happened to his hand, which I would have been curious to see too. But he kept throwing it, right? He kept using it. The corner relayed to the commentary team that his hand was fine, so that was something there as well. So I think that was just like a habit where he would just kind of bring his hand to his glove and then kind of go back to the thing. And I mean that kind of hurt him, right? Because later in the fights, his hands keep dropped in. Like, unfortunately, that was kind of not his downfall, but him just going back down to that was tough. Yeah, exactly, Alex. Shout out to everybody. 21 people in the watching live right now. It's 1:30 in the morning. Appreciate all you guys. Hit that comment, like button if you like what you see, and it's free. Also, that Alex M saying, I forgot about the slow count. LOL. Ref just turned around to go tell Wilder something, then continue counting. Right. I think he got up to 4, and then he went around. He turned while he told Deontay Wilder, I don't know, like, get in the corner. I don't know, go wash your hair, go shave, go get some water, go make a sandwich. I don't know. He told him something. And during that time, he went back to Tyson Fury. And after about 20 minutes, it was about, okay, 4. And now he went to 5. So he gave him about a 20-minute break. I guess he allowed Tyson Fury to go to hyperbolic time chamber and recover in the hyperbolic time chamber. Shout out to all my Dragon Ball Z guys. Yeah, then continue counting. That was definitely strange, man. Definitely super strange there. But at the end of the day, I'm not complaining. It was a classic. I would have loved for Wilder to win. I mean, I live in America. I want the American to win, just to be straight up with you, right? But hey, Tyson Fury is a phenomenal fighter. He's a charismatic dude. He's somebody that's beloved in the combat sports world, just because of who he is, right? He's not only he's a great fighter, but he's charismatic. He has the personality to go with it, and I'm not sure who's going to be the guy to take the title off this man, because like we were talking about in the comments, it's going to be a really tough matchup for somebody to beat this guy, because with his movement and with his size, and on top of that, just his overall ring generalship as a heavyweight, it's going to be really tough for somebody to beat this guy. So Man, what a classic. Like I said, we're a little bit deep. We're 25 minutes into it. I actually didn't expect to go this long. But we got a couple people in here. If you got any final questions, drop them in the comments down below. If not, make sure you guys like this video. And yeah, we'll be closing out here pretty soon because, like I said, it's getting a little bit late. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us. Of course, frequent commenter. Let's throw Derek Lewis in there with him. Yeah, man. Derek Lewis might become a wrestler after that fight, right? Because the movement of Tyson Fury is gonna destroy Derek Lewis. I mean, if it's an MMA match, definitely give it to Derek Lewis, but boxing fight, that's not even close. But it would be fun, right? Black Beast, Tyson Fury, that would be a hell of a press conference. So Alex, appreciate you coming and joining as well. Be Stuck the Poet. Haven't seen you here before in the combat sports stuff, so I appreciate you joining. Make sure you like the video. Check me out at 3Piece Combo on Twitter. It's 3 spelled out. Like I don't think you see it. Oh, never mind. Bang. Cool. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter for all your combat sports news, updates, live tweeting, all that good stuff. Shout out to Karthik. Sorry about that. Karthik Sundarasan. In a perfect world, the fight to make is Francis versus Tyson. That would be a very fun fight. MMA or MMA is not going to be close. Boxing, they need to do something where it's like best of 3, and that third fight needs to be like, I don't know, a race or something. But yeah, definitely there. So Karthik, appreciate you joining, buddy. Alex, appreciate you. Be Stuck the Poet, appreciate you joining as well. Caillou, Joseph Blanco, the first comment, of course, Mr. John Johnson, Mendiola, Joseph, Rosaball, everybody. Luca Bino, that boy, Adam Kennedy with the Gypsy King, making sure I don't miss any. East Arm Media, talking about that. Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody joining in the comments. Everybody watching as well. Don't be afraid to comment. You know, we're chilling. It's 1:37 in the morning. We're just here talking about fights. That's what we're here doing. But as always, we're gonna close out right now. Appreciate everybody for joining on this historic night where we just saw a modern day classic between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury gets it done in the 11th round with a beautiful knockout punch. That's all that he wrote in this trilogy, man. Thanks for joining the 3Piece Combo MMA Show, brought to you by the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Johnathan, aka 3Piece Combo. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at 3Piece Combo, like it's right here. And I appreciate you guys for joining me this late on a Saturday. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you guys after the next fight.